beginning of the game belonged to Obey. The end of the game belonged to my guys. Who takes game number 2 in its entirety? Let's take a look as we head to picks and bans right here. Game number 2.
And that's the power of the Athena. That triple taunt and the triple bird bomb is what allowed my guys to just win that tier 2 tower fight completely. And earlier on before that, it was a great wall from Dwurst when he was out of position because it prevented the chain lightning follow-up from Coviiii on top of the shield. He had to use his ultimate whenever a little prematurely before he actually wanted to.
Yeah, that actually looked like a poor situation when you saw all 5 ultimates down, but 3-man taunt, 3-man bird bomb. Where we're going, we don't need ultimates. Obey Alliance, they need the Cabrakan, and my guys really want that Odin and Medusa combo. Again, those 2 characters selected pretty harshly. Thotha Wheeler, Shunbats, and Agni. The Agni band coming out. Delta Marine is known for the Agni, but it still strikes me as a very, very oddball band.
I like the fact that they didn't lock in Zeus though quite yet, recognizing that the Cabrakan was a big problem for them. You don't want to have an immobile mid-mage that's going to get caught out of position. Despite having the top player damage for a majority of that game, they wanted to make sure that they get the Medusa for Transonics. That's where the power comes from my guys in the mid to late game.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if Zeus is banned or even selected by Obey Alliance, there are other mid-mages that can do what the Zeus does when it comes to gigantic area denial or just pure burst damage. You can look the way of Poseidon, etc., etc., etc. When it comes down to what Medusa does, I mean, large AoE teamfight damage. I mean, you're looking at Ho-Yi and Cupid, and Trans would rather play the Medusa.
And honestly, with Scylla open, that wouldn't have been a bad opportunity for my guys if they took the Athena yet again to pair up with Medusa, and then you can find some great synergy with the taunt route, especially against Guardians that, you know, are a little bit clunky, especially with Ymir that's immobile during his abilities. But either way, as the draft just flies on by, Nemesis gonna get locked in from my guys. Same exact draft so far, with the exception of the Athena.
I want to see the Athena.
It's probably going to happen here.
Just give it to me. My guys, I know what these players are like, and they're going to go with the Athena. From where we're from, we call this the salty run back. My guys versus Obey Alliance, game 2, exact same drafts on both sides of the screen. I love this stuff because both teams are saying, my guy says, hey, we got the W. We don't need to change it. And Obey Alliance are saying, we played that well enough. We don't need to change it.
The only change that Obey Alliance actually has is the last pick. The Fafnir was not in the game 1. It was the Bacchus instead. This is going to give more attack speed with the Coerce against the double hunters. It's going to allow them to burn these objectives a little bit faster. Once Fafnir uses the ultimate, you have the area of effect Coerce, so therefore both hunters get the full benefits of that attack speed steroid.
Jelly always messes things up, man. I got so excited because very rarely we hear this term, salty runback, and it's frequently incorrect, right? The full draft, I really wanted it. Jelly, we're gonna have some words, buddy. We're definitely gonna have some words.
Is the gauntlet coming off?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not happy with Jelly right now. No, I'm just kidding. Either way, Obey, they make the change to the Fafnir. Now you broke down the change, or the difference mainly, between the Bacchus and the Fafnir. Do you think it's going to be a positive change to Obey or a negative one?
I think if they can get into those team fights, it's going to be a great positive change. It's going to allow both Delta and Air Cougar to do a lot of damage in these team fights. Just talking about what Air Cougar did there real quick. He takes away 2 of the little baby ogres because he recognizes that he's left alone in the lane. And by taking away 2 of them, it's going to make it more difficult now for my guys to get all 4 little babies and hit level 2. Recognizing this Transonics and Brochacho are going to do the same exact thing they did the last game. They're going to pull the big ogre minion to be able to tank up this purple buff.
And we, you know, like you said, we saw this the first time. Have to be careful taking out that minion first. Brochacho taking a lot of damage here for no reason, however. Unless they're trying to goad Air Cougar in a bad spot. There's the dash damage.
They basically zoning Air Cougar away. He has to deal with the wave on the left-hand side, conceding his purple buff yet again. But this time, the difference for my guys is KhaoticPurpose gets his own speed buff. Now, the blue buff was secured here for Dwurst, so that option was taken away for my guys.
Yeah, so that'll be one of the changes in the early game process that we see out of these 2 teams. It's interesting. These early game starts are so very micro-oriented. I can't think of the meticulous and very specific that when it comes down to individual minion kills, that it's very interesting to see the teams break things down because Smite generally is a macro game.
Yes.
And the beginning is very micro, and it's a very different feel in Season 4.
Especially with Brochacho min-maxing the duration of that purple buff. He didn't pick it up right off the bat. He recognized that both himself and Transonics has enough time during that 30-second window to get the red buff for Transonics on the Medusa, then walk back and pick up the purple buff, extending the lifetime.
And that's classic Brochacho. It's very funny because Brochacho, if you ever see him in interviews or talk to him, he has a very laid-back demeanor. That's part of the reason why I think a lot of fans like him as we get back into the game here. I think that El Brochacho brings very just loose air, you know, very, very calm demeanor. But when it comes down to it, Brochacho is one of the louder dudes when it comes to LAN on comms. And he's also one of the more, I don't want to say intelligent players, but when it comes, he's down to crunch the numbers, totally.
He's trying to get in your head nonstop. I mean, that's kind of what happens when you play with El Chapo for so long. You just kind of pick up on some of those tendencies. He's kind of an intimidating person, if I were to say so myself.
Well, I mean, it's not that not even just that they've played together, they're family. Brochacho and Chapo are actually cousins. So, yeah, well, it must run a little deep there in that family. Definitely a little aggressive. Can say the same about the guys on Obey, though. The number of times I've heard Myflin and Air Cougar specifically scream and shout at the opponent over LAN. I couldn't count.
Well, Obey Alliance are practically family at this point anyway. They haven't changed their roster in so long. They've been using the same crew for about 2 years now, I want to say.
I love it, totally. I love when teams decide to stick to the sort of situation. Brochacho dashing to the right, Transonics dashing to the left. That'll be that. Nice little stun out of PbnJellly, but nothing really coming through it. And you're right, Obey, they've stuck with the same roster through thick and through thin. You know, it's really fun. It's really fun seeing Dwarf's mom and Jelly's dad come out to almost every single event. So, you know, even beyond the players, their families have gotten to know each other. And you know, Obey, really a tight-knit group. And I think that is very important when it comes to success, right? I mean, you guys on Team Dignitas way back when didn't change much, and you saw a lot of success. A lot of the teams that have stuck together in Smite, both PC and console otherwise, have done very well without roster changes.
And you can see just how tight-knit Obey Alliance is by the way they travel together throughout the jungle. They peeked their head around the corner on the right side jungle earlier on, but they did it as a 3-man unit, making sure nobody was going to get caught with their pants hanging down low, making sure Delta Marine was in a comfortable spot as well. And then they go to the left-hand side afterwards, making sure that none of their buffs are going to get really pressured out here. Transonics doing a good job so far on the left with those buff invades, having a 1-level lead over Air Cougar.
Yeah, my guys over here still dealing with their own jungle and you know, talking about the synergy between players. Wolves and Transonics have played together on the same team for a long time, and it's very interesting because they're both kind of silent. They don't really talk much except to say, I got the kill, or I'm winning my lane, and that's pretty much what happens for the two of them. So when you take a look here, Wolves and Transonics is sort of the brackets to a very noisy team. KhaoticPurpose has been known for running his mouth, positive or otherwise, and Brochacho, as we said, also a very aggressive player. So the dynamic of this team is very fun to watch. Dwurst is going to walk into a really hairy situation here.
Doing a lot of damage, though, in return. Great wall from Myflin, though. It basically covers him inside. There's no possible way for my guys to even extend any further.
That was what exactly... If Dwurst could have thought of something exactly what he wanted, outside of just TPing out of that ring, that would be it. I mean, that was just a perfect play from Myflin.
Yet again, my guys trying to take advantage of the Ymir early on before he gets to tankiness, but this time compared to the first game, not able to find the kill, but they don't lose anybody in return, so it's just going to be a wash. The buff was taken and secured by Myflin, having to use a lot of mana though, and did bait out both of those Guardian ultimates.
So right now, my guys just shy of about 1,000 gold lead. And no kills on the board just yet. Where is this raw lead coming from? Is it just superior farming or invades?
It's all the dual lane. It's the difference between Transonics and Air Cougar with the invades on the purple and the red buff. On top of this, every single time that wave gets under the tower, you're losing a lot of gold here. Every time the tower hits a single minion, you're not getting any credited gold. You're getting the experience for it, but not the gold, and that's the main difference here. Looking at the net worth, Transonics at the top at 3,800, and Air Cougar sitting at around 34.
Nice taunt. It's going to pick up 2, but nice little... I love how they both jump in opposite directions. Fun stuff to watch here, folks. Myflin's gonna catch out one, but this time it's gonna rain. Coviiii drops the ult as well. Jelly jumps in, not gonna find it, and it's gonna be Brochacho escaping. Still, no kills.
2 for 2 ultimates, that's basically what happened. But Brochacho, his ultimate's coming back relatively quickly, so once he gets all that health returned to him, he's going to be able to make a play with that Defender of Olympus. Also now picking up Mark of the Vanguard as he backs up, trying to get more damage mitigation, having a lot of damage mitigation in terms of the Bluestone pendants that both Air Cougar Delta Marine has, as well as all the ticks from the Desert Fury.
And don't forget, I think this is one of those damage orienting that. A lot of people forget about the damage from tremors. I mean, it's a little bit, but it hits you a lot. It's very much like Fear No Evil, where you don't realize that you're taking that much damage from that source. So
it's every half a second. Every half a second, Tremors applies a tick of damage. So essentially, the longer it lasts, the more benefit you're actually getting from this 800 gold investment that Brochacho has done a great job calculating in terms of this game, at least, second game.
Yeah, again, talking about Brochacho, very meticulous when it comes to the numbers. He's definitely a guy that, like I said, really enjoys, or at least does, a lot of the theory crafting. Whether or not he enjoys it, I'm not too sure. I'll have to ask him about it. But it's certainly a big part of his game and what he brings here for my guys in their first season here in our second season in the Console League. 7.5 on the clock very early on here. Game number 1, if you're just joining us. Oh, Dwurst! He's not going to join anybody. He's going to join the dead as the first blood goes down. My guys puts themselves in kill column. Obey have yet to respond. Gold Fury started. Nice pillar placement by Cougar as they showed the presence on the right side of the map. My guys lose the presence on the left side. Wolves causing damage. There's one for him and one for Coviiii, but it might as well be a double kill. And there's going to be help. Kill looking for Jelly. Wolves not going to give it up. Myflin, low 2. Wolves didn't give it up, neither will KhaoticPurpose or Brochacho. Meditation from Brochacho, that's all he can do to help, but Chaotic dives a little too deep, and he'll get out.
Brochacho was taking the tower the whole time. My guys is doing so much work, chasing down one kill, zoning out the other, getting the gold Fury. Wolves is going to sacrifice his life, though. Coviiii still taking the gold Fury. Dwurst is here. Wonderful. He's taunted out, trying to buy him some time, but Ymir is still doing the damage, gets the carpet, gets the in hand. Yet again, my guys doing an objective when it's not called for.
Yeah, just again. I thought that was a taunt. Again, just bad decision-making around objectives for my guys. They're able to win game number 1 despite that fact. So we'll see if it's the same situation. Obey get the Gold Fury this time around. Brochacho coming down, trying to control and help out his Hunter. But he dashes away as he realizes it's too late. It's 3-4. My guy's leading the kills. But after that objective, well, Obey, they're starting to shorten things up. We had a larger lead for my guys. And with the Gold Fury taken by the blue team, it's now quite even, basically a tie game as we approach 10 minutes.
And this is a great point for Obey to start making the comeback. They're more of a mid-game team with this triple Guardian, double Hunter composition. They're not, by any stretch of the imagination, a late-game team here with this Neith in the mid lane. Anhur can do a lot of damage as well in the late game, but you're looking for more of the Apollo, the Rama, for these kinds of Hunter compositions to truly benefit in the late game. So all my guys has to do is just do the same thing they did last game. Wait for the right opportunity where there's too many members from Obey stacked up. You're going to look for Brochacho setting up Coviiii in a good spot.
And again, KhaoticPurpose had a relatively strong game last time around because of the fact that he just played Nemesis. He was, I think, 2-2 and 11, right? Very, very even, but then a large amount of assists. And that's what KhaoticPurpose has to look for. These early game dives, maybe a little bit too much, but you drop an ultimate, let the team clean up, good.
This is what KhaoticPurpose has in store for himself. This 2-level lead is giving him the confidence to be able to make that play under the tier 1 mid tower to dive it, especially when he has his Guardian support tanking the tower for a little bit longer. And this is what we've known from KhaoticPurpose to do anyway. Whenever he has a lead, whether it's gold or experience, he's going to try to look for ways to kind of extend it.
Ooh. Here, Cougar off the mark with that Impale. Transonics certainly dealing the damage, and KhaoticPurpose dealing the damage as well. You can see 3-man gank on the right side, just an Athena ultimate to couple with the help from the jungler.
Nemesis ultimate was used again. Dwurst got caught earlier on, a little bit away from his tower the first death, but the second death was a little bit closer towards his own tower. He did have the Breastplate of Valor finished off, but honestly, the more defenses you have, the better it is for KhaoticPurpose with this Nemesis ult, as it takes a percentage of your armor.
Very interesting thought process there. Are my guys going to get the 11-minute tower? No, they're chased off by Jelly. Very interesting thought process there, totally. Fighting against the Nemesis. Is it bad to buy protections? Should you just buy health?
You should still buy protections because you're going to need a late game, but the timing of the protections matters a lot. You're going to get more benefits surviving against Nemesis ganks if you get a winged blade to start things off. You're going to get the health and the slow immunity. So once Nemesis does use that ultimate or uses her second ability, you're just going to be able to run away. But the only issue is Wolves on the Odin, you're not running away from that Odin cage unless you have Phantom.
Yeah, so when it comes down to it, when you think about a Nemesis, Wolves versus 3. Right now, cages in 2, jumps away over the root. Nice play by Wolves. When it comes down to playing against Nemesis, slows are number one in my brain, so you want to go for that winged blade. After the fact, though, do you still build the health, or do you go into the protections?
You definitely want to go into the protections after you get the winged blade.
So just the single item?
Yes, you just want to get the single item. It's a really great hard counter to be able to survive against the Nemesis ganks. Right-hand side, Wolves survive the gank, and left-hand side, Cougar does the same.
Great breakdown. Great breakdown. Very interesting to see the finite points of dealing with a haphazard jungler like the Nemesis. A character that it's not about how often you see her or how late you or how not often you see her, rarely, excuse me, but the fact that the ultimate is so mathy. It's so interesting that how you break that down and have to deal with it.
It's also a similar story whenever you're dealing with a Circuit.
Yes.
The true damage is going to go through your protection, so obviously the more health you have, the better chances of your survivability against that god. Same story with Naja, right? You want to be able to avoid the ring bounces, and the more health you have, the more chances you're going to survive the wombo combo that Naja will set up.
Naja, of course, having protection shred on that ring bounce. There's so many things on that ring bounce that a lot of people kind of forget about, whether it's the slow, the speed up, the protection shred, etc. A lot on that one ability. Myflin, however, he's got 4.
Coviii's
he's
here,
trying to defend his purple buff. Cougar just repeatedly pushed out of lane. Transonics down to take some tower shots for it. Jelly and Myflin here. Myflin retreating. Nice transformation by Jelly as well. He's going to help out Delta Marine. I love the way that eyeball looks on the Neith right there.
Cougar, though, is very low. Nice stun from Cougar, going to prevent any sort of follow-up. Brochacho was looking for the taunt, which could have set up Coviiii for a lot of damage right around that corner. But now, ooh, great jump by Jelly, preventing the follow-up.
And here comes the minions, but my guys look like that's all they wanted, but they're going to be forced to fight into it. Myflin drops the ultimate, but how do you say backfire in the language that they're speaking? Because that one right there did not go the way that Myflin planned. Now, nobody died for it, and that's all well and good, but Myflin ulted and then got brought down to 20% HP.
Coviiii taking a lot of damage. Dwurst is here. He's looking for the wall, but he gets slowed down, taking a lot of that chain lightning slow. Brochacho, though, is getting clipped by the wall, but that's not an issue for him yet again. My guys, tactically using a bait tactic where everybody focuses on the left. Wolves is able to push out that wave, and without a wave to defend or the teleport from Dwurst as he used it for the left-hand side, that tower's gone.
Obey, understanding that they're looking up at a 2,000 gold deficit. Go for the Gold Fury, and they execute fantastically.
Triple taunt.
Double taunt for the guys on my guys, and there's help out. Brochacho claims 1. Myflin's going to be in trouble as well. Can Brochacho fight against it? He's got friends. Absolutely. 2-0-3 for the Nemesis jungle. Not done just yet. Cougar underneath the tower. My guys have a wave filtering in, and they'll take it. That's the tier 1 tower, 500 gold. Going the way of my guys. It's 7-3. And it's 37-35 as far as the gold.
They found 2 kills. They're poking out a lot of members. Coviiii using his ultimate, trying to get multiple stacks. If that was a second stack onto Cougar, he's absolutely melted. And using this player advantage, goes from tier 1 mid, looking for some buff invades on the right-hand side, able to strip it away. And Myflin, who's already struggling 3 levels behind KhaoticPurpose, and that's going to extend KhaoticPurpose experience gap even further.
Hold your breath, Tolly. My guys, going for an objective, and this is the right play. They successfully get the objective early game. Nobody contests. No problem for my guys that turnaround.
This is where we hear a slow clap initiating from a distance for my guys, securing an objective without losing anybody in the process.
That one guy in the back of the bar in the flannel shirt just giving them the nice slow clap.
Yep,
If I was
that's exactly
aggro,
what happened.
if I was aggro, this is where the longest yeah boy ever would go. If I was aggro. All right, that's where this belongs for my guys. That's how big of a deal that objective has been. Not only for this game, honestly, low impact. The mentality of the team, high impact. Already have the confidence to go ahead and take this team fight in the middle lane. Myflin down to about half HP after the ultimate is dispensed. Dwurst shows up on the right side flank. Can't do much, unlike the rest of the squad collapsing on Coviiii, but it's KhaoticPurpose with the help of Transonics to bring down Myflin. There's the rainstorm. Coviiii drops the ultimate, and that's going to allow my guys to push on in. Minions battling against the red team, but there comes Wolves over the top looking for pbnjellly. He'll be answered by Dwurst, and the tower starting to take some shots. But likely, Tolly, this should be a retreat, and it will be for my guys.
1-for-1. Obey Alliance successfully hold on to their tier 2 tower. Dwurst, though, gets the wall off, taking a lot of poke in return. The detonate's good. He also jukes out one ability, but not the second. Transonics, though, wanting to avenge his teammate. He has the mobility in the form of fatalities, but instead electing to switch onto Delta Marine, and that was the right target.
Well played, my guys. Find love potion number 9. Flank out of the jungler. There's number 10. KhaoticPurpose not letting it go. This team fight is like when you're arguing with your roommate or your girlfriend and it just doesn't end. It just, please, it's over. Nobody's winning this. Everybody's dead. Why don't you just drop it? And then KhaoticPurpose comes from the side, just slaps him in the head. Absolutely
I mean, if you look at if you dissect every situation that was going on there, Dwurst tried to get the cleanup kill onto Coviiii, but didn't take into account that the purification beads was still available. He found the freeze. He couldn't confirm the ice carpet. That would have been a clean kill and then a getaway. And then on top of that, we saw the flank coming from Myflin yet again, just nonstop. And then the counter flank from KhaoticPurpose. It's just a domino effect off of the one slight miscalculation play from Dwurst.
Everybody just tried to get the cleanup kill because there was always a cleanup kill presented. And honestly, Coviiii made a very smart, small play there, although he eventually died from Cougar. He doesn't die to Dwurst because he pre-beads the freeze. If you get frozen by the Ymir for even half a second, that ice carpet is your death, whether it's from the damage there or the frostbite hit afterwards. By pre-beading the freeze, you're not stuck in that one spot for a moment, so you can't get hit by the Ymir damage as the carpet. Just a very small play that I really wanted to point out to the viewers.
Oh, mid lane, though, catching Myflin off guard in that Odin cage, but a great Cabrakan ultimate is going to prevent Transonics from getting hit with those in-hands, but Zeus ultimate doing a little bit of damage here. Myflin has enough tankiness with that Void Stone to be able to mitigate a lot of that damage.
I like to see the perfect rings. Now, it did work out, like they didn't really obtain anything off of it, but very rarely do you see the perfect circle over circle effect there. With those ultimates down, however, Obey look for the aggression. Brochacho very low, 10%, 5% dashes out to the right-hand side. Ultimate out of Cougar can't reach. Trouble for the Hunter. My guys doubling Obey's 5 kills. Want to add more onto that. Dwurst gets ulted by the Nemesis. Here's the dash forward with the Athena ult, and there's the Petrify, but an Impale saves the life of Dwurst. Transonics gets 1 kill already. Tier 2 tower being fought down. Half HP on the objective. Myflin down for the count. Chaotic with his 5th kill of the game. It's 12-5. Second tier tower goes down. It's 48,000 to 43,000 gold right now.
Oh no, Cougar gets 3 stacks of the Zeus, and that's gonna be the Zeus juice for Coviiii, finding himself his 2nd kill of the game. And off of the one play from Obey Alliance, overcommitting to El Brochacho allows my guys to actually win that. With the fact that the Athena backs to base, he gets off the ultimate to allow KhaoticPurpose to dive even further on, getting the tier 2 tower, now getting the middle Phoenix, and Wolves isn't done yet. He uses his ultimate to make sure nobody is going to stop the 2nd confirmed objective for my guys.
My man Wolves hid in that hallway and taunted, literally taunted, and then did some 360s and jumped around, and that was the zone. He didn't zone by using it. So a lot of times you look at characters with abilities, right? Like Hercules and other warriors that I can't think of right now, and they'll flip you, they'll push you, they'll stun you, they'll knock you up, right, to control you. Wolves goes ahead and zones because he's Odin. He's got a jump, right? Gungear's Might, we don't talk about it, right? All he has is a jump. So he uses his taunt to control you. He taunts, he does some 360s, he dances, and Obey's just looking at him like, what is this dude doing? Then he jumps in and drops the ring, and he winds up with a fire giant belt, and Obey go, oh. That's what he's doing. He's keeping us out of the team fight. My guys pick up the fire giant, and looks like they're going to siege down the right-hand side.
And that's going to be a great spot for them here, considering how far away they were behind the first game. To make a comeback such as this, to be able to be down 5,000-6,000 gold at one point, to be able to control the game very convincingly in game number 2.
Flipping the map one more time. It's my guys here in the driver's seat on the left side of the map. Sprint is popped as a defensive mechanism. My guys want to get out of this fight, but instead, Wolves jumps forward. Keep an eye on the flank. Dwurst on the backside, really looking to punish my guys. Coviiii gets a kill. Wolves gets a kill. Delta Marine still under the tower. He's gonna fall. There's another one for the jungler. Dwurst, he flanked, but he's got no support. Drops the ultimate, big damage. Wolf still takes out Air Cougar. Coviiii in trouble. Dwurst kills him with the freeze, and the team gets frozen as well. My guys forces the surrender. Obey, with only 6 kills, winds up 10,000 gold down and losing this one 2-0.
The defending world champions, Obey Alliance, still struggling now in week number 3 of the North American SCL. My guys, though, doing work right now.
Absolutely. I mean, this is a well-oiled machine. This team looks very, very strong, willing to try new things. KhaoticPurpose, a player that really likes the spotlight, taking a seat back and looking for assists. Elbro Chacho really being an aggressive guardian, taking a step back and playing the Athena. A lot of different strategies turning around here. And we'll take a look. One of the strongest players on the box, still doing it. It's Wolves out of the solo lane. Very strong stuff. Double Odin in 2 games right here, and he's really bringing the damage.
And this is why they drafted so early in the drafting phase for Wolves. He finds a solo kill, tanking the tower, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, finds the last in hand. He knows he's not going to get hit by the 4th one and just walks away. And using this Odin was a great job in terms of finding the counter pick, making sure that Obey Alliance, they picked up a Cabrakan early on and then the Ymir in both games, and this Odin is just being able to shut down both of them. There was no phantom response either by Obey Alliance, surprisingly.
When it comes down to it, Toli, there are some characters that players latch on to, meta be damned, how strong the character is or not. I think if you ask a lot of experts and a lot of players, the strength of Odin, or the relative strength, I should say, is not very high. There are some other warriors and guardians that are better picked in the solo lane. But once in a while, a player like Wolves comes around and just latches onto a character, like I said. And this Odin for Wolves has just been extraordinary to watch and extraordinary to be on a team of, I'm sure, for my guys, the control that he brought was just so much.
And this is what makes Wolf such a strong player. This is something that he's also been known to do time in and time out,
Exactly.
this Odin. But this is not the only thing he's been playing before in the past. He plays the Loki very convincingly. You have to always watch out for his God Pull.
Certainly not a lot of fun to play against, but a lot of fun to watch. It's Wolves there in the solo lane playing for my guys. He continued on in game number 2, just still bringing the Odin noise. Here we are watching some of the clips here, and the way that he controls these teams, whether it be by ring or damage, is just, well, out of control. Look at that, the big 3-man Goomba Stomp setting up the rest of the squad for the kills. I mean, what don't you love about that?
It's all about the timing, and Wolves has so much patience, and this is what makes him such a great player here in the SCL, able to find the kill. Now, what we don't see is what happened afterwards for my guys when they got the failed Gold Fury attempt, but they're doing a good job winning these team fights off of the cages, pairing up with Coviiii Zeus as well.
So that's the team fight view from a base standpoint. They just see flashes of Odin, and then they all fall down to the wayside. Wolves just absolutely tearing it up. What's really fun is how vocal's the wrong term, how actively annoying that Wolves is on the Odin. Like, we saw him dancing and taunting before. We saw him backbait on
Mind
the
games.
kill, right?
It's all mind games.
Exactly, but here's the thing. You still like to play your mind games. You're also relatively quiet. You weren't one to really pop off on Twitter or yell at play, but you're going to let people know through your gameplay. Wolves and Transonics do just that, taking 2 games over the defending world champs, Obey. We've got a couple more SCL games coming at you live. Stay tuned for some more SCL.